What's a good word, everyone? I'm Kenny Barnaby,
Whoa.
owner of SportsBooks.com. We are here to preview our Montana Grizzlies and introduce to people who want to join the bandwagon of our Montana Grizzlies as we make a run for the national title. We're going to break down the Montana Grizzlies better, even better than the all Power Four conference schools that we have up here on YouTube. All 32 NFL teams up here on the YouTube. So, and remember, sportshatballs.com is the name of my site. Love it. When you go to that, you can pick up sports pick packages. But let's get to the Montana Grizzlies and how can these guys win the national title? Last year we played for the national title, got beat. We're a foot short from tying the game up in the second quarter, and then things just didn't work out. But we were predicted fourth in the Big Sky last year, and now this year. So what do you got to learn? You got to learn the phrases first. I'm not going to finish this because this is a PG type podcast or cast right now. So you got to learn. All you guys jumping on the bandwagon of the Montana Grizzlies. When we play the Montana State Bobcats, once a Grizzly, always a Bear. Once a Cat, always a... Exactly. It begins with a P. So you got that. Once a Grizzly, always a Bear. Once a Cat, always a... Begins with a P. You know it. You can say it. I just don't, kids are around. Might not want to. So, okay. So, what do we got? Well, everyone wants to know this year about our quarterback position. So, let's start with the defense. Gubbs is gone. Okay. Best defensive lineman in the country, but he won the best defensive lineman in the Big Sky, and it wasn't close. That's going to be a big loss. But the thing people got to realize, despite on the outside, people just go, oh, they lost 7 of their top 11 tacklers and all this stuff. We got Bobby Hauck. So what's Bobby Hauck do besides the transfer portal? Who he's got a lot of 2 deep coming in on this defense. But they rotate in. They rotate in. They rotate in. What does that mean? That when you say that 4 starters are returning, that's bad for Montana State. That's bad for Furman, Delaware, the non-North Dakota State, South Dakota State teams. For us, we're just reloading. People are just getting a shot to play. I mean, we're going to have some new faces in there. No doubt about it. We still got Hayden Harris, who came in from UCLA last year and became a star. There is a reason. And this is probably a quote from Riley Wilson. But Riley Wilson, Ryan Terrell, linebackers here coming back this year. There's a reason the University of Montana is called Linebacker U. And you will see it when you watch on ESPN Plus, and there's one ESPN2 game. And when we go through the schedule, we'll tell you all about it. Now, Trevin Gagne comes back. 5 interceptions last year. Now, another thing you knew guys about loving the Montana Grizzlies, we have a tradition, number 37. Syracuse is number 44, same thing. Grizz, number 37. He had the 5 picks last year. He's coming back. That's when a Montana native on defense does everything right. So that'll be fine. They have 1 safety returning, Ryan Meyer, but they got people coming in because we play so well that when Bobby does it, his first time around, Bobby Hauck, he would just develop and people would play a lot. So by the time he came back the next year, you weren't a returning starter, but you're still really good. So he's got a little bit of that mixed with the transfers coming in on this defense. The defensive coordinators, Roger Cooper and Tim Hauck. Roger Cooper was the linebackers last year, and Tim Hauck, Bobby's brother, make a great combinations. And they'll be both wearing headsets. So watch out for this defense. Now, will it take a week or two to come together a little bit? Maybe. And do we play a good team in the first 2 weeks? We play a team that was in the playoffs last year. When we go through the schedule, we'll talk all about this. But we're going to have new faces on this defense. And the thing is that there are 4 teams that have separated themselves from the FCS level of anyone out there. South Dakota State, the two-time defending national champs, North Dakota State. I'm sure they even you guys know about North Dakota State. And then we'll put the Kittens in there, the Montana State Bobcats, along with us. We are preseason number 3. I believe on NCAA.com, North Dakota State's number 1, team we knocked out. South Dakota State's number 2, and we're number 3. So now you want to know about the quarterback position, of course, for the Montana Grizzlies. So let's talk about the offensive line. We are 8 to 10 deep. We did lose two players that were all conference, but Brandon Casey is back. Liam Brown, okay, not a starting center returning, but he went from guard to center. And like he said in an interview, 100 snaps a day just to get the position down. This offensive front is so deep. It's going to be a beautiful thing. When you watch, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this team, more often than not, has played a little bit more to the defense in the past and special teams. And when we get to the receivers, anyone that watched the playoffs last year knows that Bergen is the best kick returner of all time in the FCS level, at least clutch. Ask Furman, ask Delaware, ask North Dakota State. Keep kicking to them. Bring it on. All right. So, getting back to the offensive line. They're deep. They're going to play 8 to 10. They're going to be able to play. So, if you see offensive linemen go down, you don't have to panic. With the talent differential from the top 4 FCS to everyone else, you're going to see us steamroll some people. So, the offensive line is really set. Now, the running back position is just ridiculously talented. It's probably the strongest position. You got the Jerry Rice Award winner, Eli Gilman, coming back. You got, of course, Osmo. You know, you're going to love this tough little run back for you people who haven't seen him. Xavier Harris is back, and he might be number 4 because we got the Arizona transfer, Steve Rogers Jr. coming in, and he has really turned heads up in Missoula in camp. So this is just an embarrassment of riches at running back. Again, this is what I like to tell people. The newbies, the ones that are coming to see the Montana Grizzlies, jumping on the bandwagon, being a fan forever, you guys out there that don't have an FCS team, love it, learn it. Because Eli Gilman goes down, Osmo will be fine. Osmo goes down, Steve Rogers, Xavier Harris. We got 3 proven on the Grizz field, and we're not worried one bit about Steve Rogers. Embarrassment of riches, rocking and rolling in Washington Grizzly Stadium. By the way, the mecca of all stadiums in the FCS. No one's even close. It's even embarrassing to call a second team in the FCS number 2 in home field advantage. And that could be the Bobcats. They got a good home field advantage, but it's nothing compared to Washington Grizzly Stadium. As we look at the receivers, Keelan White is back. Bergen is back. You're going to love Bergen. He almost single-handedly got us back into games last year in the playoffs in beautiful Washington Grizzly Stadium. By the way, we get playoff games, we win. It's just that simple with Bobby Hauck. And then Grossman at tight end missed the whole year. That's like getting another starter back, even though technically they didn't. But this team is loaded on offense. So you're wondering about the quarterback, are you? Well, Keelan White is a senior wide receiver. Bergen, Grossman, they're going to be fine. Now, these aren't outstanding receivers, but they're solid. They're really a solid bunch. So you got the running backs. You got the receivers. You got the deep old line, despite losing 2 all-conference players, which people will whine about in other schools and go, oh, they're not that good, they're not that good. Yeah, come to Washington Grizzly Stadium and say that. No one can beat Montana at home, and we do have 7 home games. So as we go to the quarterback position, as we really, been teasing you the whole video on this. So what Bobby Hauck has done since he's come back here has been there's never been like the same quarterback 2 years in a row. And this is no exception. Now, so what happened last year? McDowell. First, Vidlac another one like Burt Meyer, Boise State transfer, bad quarterback, just wasn't good enough. I mean, he was replaced by McDowell, who we thought was so good, but really he was pretty good. He could scramble. He could make clutch plays. He was really just really careful with the ball. He says he wasn't 100% for the national title game, and he wasn't. But so we had a good quarterback. I'm really looking for our quarterbacks to be better than McDowell this year. What happened to McDowell? Well, first he transferred to a lower FCS school. Then he tried to come back to beautiful Missoula, Montana. They voted against him. Said, no, you already quit on us once. How many times are you going to quit on us? So he's in Temple. So if you want to watch an old Grizz quarterback, you can watch him in Temple flail around with that team. But what do we have? That is the question you have. I know. Logan Fife is a senior transfer from Fresno State. Now, the common thing that people think, he didn't transfer here to be a backup. But you go to egriz.com, you will see that there's like a 50-50 split between Keli Ayat, his dad played here, and was really great. He followed Dave Dickinson, the best football player in FCS history. And he came after Dickinson and still made a name for himself. But that's his dad. So Keli Ayat and Logan Fife, 50-50. And I invite you guys, when you guys want to see Montana Grizzly info to the detail, egriz.com. Go there. Brent Wahlberg is the best of all time, and there's some fighting and some clowns that don't think Houck is the best coach in Montana Grizzly football history. Ignore all that. Get the information. You just want to absorb the information. Brent Wahlberg is the best. So Logan Fife, Keli Ayat. I hope that Ayat can win the job. It would be great because he's a red shirt freshman coming in. So he'll have 4 years. But even if he doesn't play and Fife beats him out, that's fine because you still have 3 years of Ayat. But with Bobby Houck, they have had the last 2-3 years, they haven't had the same quarterback twice. They've been going with a veteran quarterback. They tried to do it with Vidlak last year, wasn't good enough, pushed him out. When we had our one loss before the national title game, it kind of turned the season when McDowell came in, straightened everything out. After that loss to Northern Arizona, we went on to roll everybody. And then in the playoffs, we had just the most exciting games against teams that we thought we were way better than. They all pushed us to the wire, the Delaware, the Furman, in the North Dakota State. Watch highlights of those games. They were just simply amazing games. Watch the crowd in Washington Grizzly Stadium. You watch us on the road, there's going to be a lot of high school atmospheres out there. Even for some of the good teams like UC Davis and Cal Poly, Eastern Washington. But when it comes down to it, it is a real stadium because they actually fill in all the way around the stadium. There's no track around the field. This is a football field with great tailgates also, by the way. When the guys with the hats come and you stick, whoo, Katie by the door, it's a great day. So let's look at our schedule. The number one thing that sticks out, if you believe the polls, if you believe FCS polls. Now, they're a little lazy when they do the polls. It's almost just like, what were they last year, and adjust a few. And the Big Sky could be one that in particular could show this. But we'll see. Idaho is number 7. Sauk State is number 8. Now, for you new guys out there going, what is a Idaho? What is a Sauk State? That's Idaho. The Idaho Vandals, number 7 in the country. Sacramento State, better known as Sauk State, is number 8. We avoid those two teams. Now, Idaho, they lose their quarterback. They lose their top running back. I am not as versed as I am with those videos up on youtube.com with all the Power 4 schools that I'm really into. I'm not into who's returning everything for all the teams in the FCS. We do sell picks and have to be focused on the FBS. so we can't know everything about the FCS. But to see Idaho at number 7, I've seen around the E-Grizz, I've seen around the campfire that they might not be as good as people actually think. But Idaho and Sauk State are both on the Bobcats schedule. So in terms of number 7, number 8, we avoiding them and Cats getting them, that's kind of the first time that's happened. So let's look at our schedule. We start with Missouri State, and I am here. I'm actually in Missouri, within a half hour of their stadium. We were supposed to play them here after I moved here, but of course COVID happened and we didn't. Here's the return game where Missouri State comes in to take their beating. They're going to the FBS next year, taking Arkansas. They're already playing scared, taking Arkansas off the schedule, and Petrino taking whatever. But this is not a good team. This is a team that never makes the playoffs. This is a school that wanted to. It was between Bryles and Petrino a few years ago who they were gonna go. Were they going to go with a horrible person that quit on Arkansas and the Falcons, or they're going to go with a guy that's going to cover up murders? And so they thought they wanted to try to become good. Petrino had them number 4 in the country, had them there in September. You know what they did in the playoffs? Oh, yeah, they didn't make it. They never do. The Grizz will take care of Missouri State. They do have a good quarterback from what I have heard, but this is not a top 25 team. This is not a team that wins games. And we'll take care of them in beautiful Missoula, Montana. It's a blackout, so when you watch on ESPN Plus, I believe it's at, I want to say 8 Eastern, but check your local listings. But it's ESPN Plus. They'll rock and roll. You will see a great crowd. Opening night, nothing like Missoula under the lights. Then they go to North Dakota. North Dakota, now these rankings are from NCAA.com going into this year. North Dakota, number 24 in the country. Now, 24 teams make the playoffs. This is a team that finished, I believe, 5th in the Missouri Valley. Now, you got to know that the Missouri Valley Conference and the Big Sky Conference are by far the best. You can call them both the SEC. SEC East, SEC West, however you want to put it. But to relate it to FBS, there's like both SEC caliber conferences for the FCS level. So them finishing 5th is respectable. They're a good team, a good test. This is how the Grizz lost without deciding or without having the right quarterback to this type of team, even a little bit lower with Northern Arizona. But so at North Dakota will be the first test to see what we're made of with that defense coming together. See how that plays out. Then we come back home to beautiful Missoula, Montana, play Morehead State. We're going to blast them. They're not any good. Western Kentucky comes in, West Carolina comes in. Now, this team is ranked 20th. I have seen them as high as ranked 16th at the FCS level. And they have a good quarterback, and they have a team that was a borderline, missed the playoffs last year. It's a pretty good team, but obviously no one's going to come into Wadres and beat us. Then we go to Eastern Washington. Now, we have had trouble historically in the past on the tampon turf in Eastern Washington. Oh, you don't know the tampon turf? Well, I believe they've gone back to that. They're going back to a green field this year, but they've had that tampon turf where they had the red AstroTurf. So they're getting rid of their tampon turf and going back to normal. They're a decent team, not maybe a borderline gonna be ranked team, but I like our chances even better against Eastern Washington down the road than North Dakota. As we will travel. When we travel well. It'll be a 50-50 split at Eastern Washington. Same with North Dakota. So you don't have these like LSU at night type of home fields that you go against. We are the LSU at night home field advantage. Anywhere we go really isn't. So then we come home. Now, this is what I don't like, even though we're not going to lose at home. Weber State's ranked 22nd. So a decent team comes into Washington Grizzlies Stadium on October 5th. And October 12th, Northern Arizona comes in. I'm loving that we lost to NAU last year. Why? Because we got some payback. And the thing that I really like about that is this is our 6th and 7th week in a row that we play. I don't like it. I've said many, many videos, as you have seen, as we broke down the Power 4 schools. I don't like playing that 6th in a row, 7th in a row. Injuries, fatigue can set in. Now, we're not going to lose at Washington Grizzlies Stadium, and you don't worry about point spreads because we're not much to bet in the FCS at this point. So, and then we have our week off, and then we go to Northern Colorado. Again, that'll be 85 people there, 75 from Missoula will be there. Won't be a problem. We'll go to Cal Poly and destroy them. Won't be a problem. Then invite all your friends and family that don't have ESPN Plus for some reason by now, because UC Davis, the 18th ranked team in the country, comes into beautiful Missoula, Montana, where we play them on ESPN2. I believe it's 9 o'clock Eastern. I want to say it's like 8 o'clock local time, so it might be 10 o'clock Eastern. But whenever all the other stuff is done, you won all the money with us here at sports.balls.com that day, you can relax and watch your adopted team, my favorite team, the Montana Grizzlies, crush UC Davis and get all the accolades and have a great time. Then Portland State comes in. They might be average, but I don't know much about Portland State. I just know we'll destroy them in Missoula. And then the big one, the preseason number 14 in the country. If their quarterback, touchdown, Tommy Mellott in his 38th year, is still upright and healthy, maybe they'll do something. We destroyed them last year on the last game of the season in beautiful Missoula. It was a beautiful thing. They'll be out for blood, but they're always out for blood. We're going to be out for blood against them. So, but this is a team that faded down the stretch last year. But you got to know that after we destroyed them, they still got a week off in the playoffs. And then North Dakota State came in there, and I believe that was the missed extra point. And that's like, the third best team in the country, North Dakota State, by the end of the year last year. They took them down to the wire. So even though they faded down the stretch, they're still good. So it'd be very interesting to see how good the Kittens are. And they play August 24th at New Mexico. New Mexico is lined at 2.5 wins. The Kittens are 11.5. FCS Kittens are 11.5 point favorites over New Mexico. This could be. Don't be surprised if the Grizz and the Cats are 11-0 going into that last week. Now the Grizz, the Cats have to have their stuff with Idaho, and I haven't looked at their whole schedule, but I know they play Idaho and Sauk State. So who knows if they'll be undefeated. We could stub our toe in North Dakota and Eastern Washington. We play some decent teams. I'll be really mad if we're not 11-0 going into that game. But you know what? I was really mad when we lost Northern Arizona too. And that went from you're going to finish 4th in the Big Sky to national runner-up. So again, I'd like to thank. What did we all learn here? Eastern Washington played on the tampon turf. Once a Grizzly, always a Bear. Once a Cat, always a. Begins with a P. Idaho, Sauk State. You got the terms coming together. Monty, great mascot. When you're watching Grizz games, especially in Missoula, look for Monty. Look for him to be all white in some of those road games too, because he's easy to spot. Because these road games, like at Northern Colorado, at Cal Poly, won't have anyone there. We have 7 home games and 5 road games. And the big one, of course, is in ugly Bozeman, Montana. So there you go. I invite you to join us as we take this adventure of the national title, 2014 playoff in the FCS. Not regionalized anymore, I don't believe, if I remember right. The top 16, I want to say, get a bye. I know there's changes in the playoff rules. We will get a bye. We will be a top 2 seed. That's what we need. That's what you got to root for. When you can't stub your toe, you can't. South Dakota State opens up with Oklahoma State. North Dakota State opens up in Colorado. Part of me wants them to win. Part of me wants them to lose and have us move up. Part of me wants them to get destroyed to show that, all right, they're vulnerable. We'll see how vulnerable they are. We needed kick returns and the magic of the stadium for some overthrown passes to beat North Dakota State last year. And deservedly so. We got pressure on, we rattled them, but they had plays that could have been made. We want to be definitely better than everyone. We beat Furman, Delaware, and those were close things. We don't want close games. If you see Furman ranked high, I don't know why. Quarterback transferred out. I believe it was Furman or maybe it was Delaware. But anyway, our Montana Grizzlies, number 3 in the country. Remember sportsbooks.com. Go there and check out money management. Go there and check out the 2 videos up there, psychology and money management. Very key to winning in sports betting. Get your package deal set today, whether you want a week, a year, whether you want to spend $100 a week or $30 a week. It's up to you. So, again, our Montana Grizzlies will win the national title. Join us. Join the bandwagon. Make an effort to watch the Montana Grizzlies. Every game is on ESPN Plus, and the UC Davis game on November 9th is on ESPN2. So welcome to the club. We'll see you guys in the next video, and let's make money.